All right, before we finalize the show, I want I wanted to show the guys something
All right.
to get their reaction to it. This week we saw the announcement for the new Mortal Kombat game that's going to come out. So I was thinking, I mean, you guys were around in the 90s, as I guess so was I, but I wanted
We were
to
around. I was
around.
in college, man.
I was absolutely in college.
So I was looking on YouTube to find what a commercial would look like for Mortal Kombat back then for the first one.
Oh, good. These are
Oh
good.
man, this is
So I want to show, and then I want you guys to see the trailer for the new one, and
okay.
just kind of talk about the differences. So this is a 2-minute commercial TV spot for the Mortal Kombat, the original game.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
You need the sound to get the full effect.
This is one I played in the arcade a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God!
The 90s were a different time. We played outside. It was weird.
Yeah. We went outside to get our games to play inside.
We camped out for movie tickets and stood in line for video games. How could the Game Boy be even?
Yeah, I know, right?
I love the filter, that yellow-orange filter that everything has.
What's weird though is like nowadays, if it was advertising it would be just showing fatality left and right.
Exactly. Is that guy supposed to be dancing? What's happening?
Yeah.
That's like when you beat the game, because all the souls are coming out.
Spoiler.
Light.
Good Lord, how is this?
This is a 2-minute ad, so I don't know where this would have aired.
Wow.
Pretty good music too.
Yeah, I miss a time where just a whole song could just be game.
This commercial would have been before the movie's Techno Syndrome song that we now know from.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Right, because that was in '94.
I would have bought that for the home
before
edition.
we watch the other one. What was the buzz around a game like Mortal Kombat?
Oh, it was okay. Hang on.
It was hyper realistic.
It was hyper realistic. So the buzz was if you were the primary target audience, you loved it. And if you were older than the primary target audience, it was bad for you. So there was I mean, am I wrong, Clay? There was a lot of controversy.
There was controversy because mainly the violence in it. So people focused on that.
Clay frozen?
And we're coming out of the 80s and the PMRC putting labels on albums. We lost Daniel.
Yeah, I know. All right. So that's not just me then. Okay.
Yeah. And so so you had people wanting to put ratings on things, and video games hadn't really become mainstream like they were now, And so at the time it was like, you're going to see blood and guts in a game, and you're going to see spines ripped out. And so it was just the shock value of that appealed to the 90s sensibility.
Yeah.
If you look back then, it was all just fucking hype from these talk show hosts. 90s had talk shows for fucking days, and they love to talk about the violence in video games, and even today, because they're like, and yet at this point, we hadn't had the school shootings that had started post Columbine. We had school shootings, but not on the level that we do now.
So it was, and I'm trying to look. Oh, okay, it was not. I wondered if Mortal Kombat is what led to the ESRB and the ratings being formed, but it was apparently Night Trap which makes sense.
Oh,
Is
the
that-
Dana Plato
Yep.
one?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a live action Sega CD game that
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who played it, but I think you can walk through it on YouTube.
It was the penultimate. Nobody I've ever met has played the game. Everybody knew of it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
now of like adult games that came out at the time, did you ever get a hold of any of those? Because I got a hold of Custer's Last Stand game.
No, God, that one was
Yeah,
that Atari?
it was an Atari, but it had
Okay.
been ported to a Commodore 64.
Hmm.
Because I somehow
makes
was playing
sense.
it on a computer, but it was, yeah, I mean, it was, what was Atari? 8-bit?
Oh, it would have. God, is it? I guess so. Yeah, 8-bit.
Yeah, and so the
right.
characters would fill your screen and do terrible things to Indian women. And,
Oh God.
and yeah, so that was like one of the ones I got a hold of. But most of the games that are like that, hypersexual, hyper violent, are
Yep.
terrible games.
Right.
Rarely can you find. I think probably the most violent, famous game is now GTA 5.
Not Postal or Postal 2?
Yeah, I forget about those, but I guess because GTA 5 still has that longevity,
Right. And it's still
it was
going,
another that
basically.
people pointed out for the violence because you got points for going around, and I think that one got a lot of social commentary about violence against women and police.
Yes, but quintessentially American. When did the public finally learn about GTA 5? It's when the hot coffee mod hit, right? So we are, in a lot of ways, we're typically desensitized to violence and sex that tends to set off most, right? Which is why it kind of makes sense. We didn't get the video game rating system because of Mortal Kombat's violence. We got it because of Night Trap.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's
someone always trying to push the limits, but it's never on creativity. It's just on sex and violence.
Right.
Yeah.
I do admit, though, the Mortal Kombat music does get me when I hear that da 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 da. You know, like I always want to yell Mortal Kombat.
Yes, for sure. But so I wanted to show you guys what the Mortal Kombat game looks like now.
Yeah.
So
I love the history of Mortal Kombat. There are some great videos online. I mean, I don't want to just jump into it, but you can find people who've done histories of like who the Johnny Cage character was supposed to be, how this game was developed for Jean-Claude Van Damme, but then he opted out. So they just brought in all these other characters, and it's just really neat. The mythology to it is cool.
Well, and I was lucky enough at the Dallas Comic Show, I met Francois Petit, who played Sub-Zero in the movie, in the 95 movie.
Yeah.
In the first movie or the remake from a few years ago?
In the first movie from 95.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, very cool. He was so like excited to meet people that love the movie, because that's really his only credit as far as an actor. He's really like a stunt performer. There we go.
Very
I hope this commercial is just the exact same version.
That's kind of what I was hoping too.
Running.
So yeah, that's the part that really got me about it. I was like, how they wanted to make it seem like you had to go or you were gonna miss out. So that's very interesting. But let's watch. You guys can watch this one.
90s was great at hype, just hyping stuff up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It is time. Time to wake up to a new reality. To a blank canvas that I have painted in with warmth and peace. In my new era, the choice is yours. Whether to live in quiet serenity or bloody strife.
Damn.
To dwell
looks too
in joyous prosperity.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fighting game.
Or bitter
Right.
rivalry. You can face each other as sworn enemies. or united as brothers.
Oh, wow.
But a storm is brewing. And soon you will discover that even in this new era, one constant remains. There is always something worth fighting for.
Oh my god.
Yeah!
Holy crap.
Shit! Oh!
You have chosen to defy peace.
Oh my god.
Then you have chosen war with a god.
Do it! Oh, shit!
Oh my
I
god.
need this in my life.
Wow.
Holy shit, that was awesome.
That's a
Wow.
pretty good sound
Holy
design
shit.
too.
Holy crap.
That's a fighting game. And just look, it's like built this great story around it. It's got these incredible characters you recognize, and then just the detail. That was like Blizzard level intro.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's a good point.
yeah. It looks. I mean, I know these are just the CGI renderings or whatever for the game, the cinematics.
Yeah, I want to see real gameplay.
Man, but this looks cool. The other thing is they've announced a list of like speculative characters for DLC that include like Homelander. Like they can really bring in anybody. I mean,
Because it's a WB game, right?
yeah.
So,
In previous versions, you've had RoboCop, the Joker, Spawn.
didn't you have like Judge Dredd at one point?
I think Judge Dredd is one of the rumored ones for this
Really?
Whoa.
No.
That'd be
Shit,
cool.
I want to play that.
Carl
What
Urban,
does a Judge Dredd fatality look like?
incendiary
shoot you.
device. No, like in the movie when Dredd switches to the incendiary bullet and it goes like in the dude's mouth and it just
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh shit! They better
So-
do that and a new one. Like you got it. Oh shit! I want to just play as Judge Dredd.
That was just wonderful.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Fatalities. When it switched to the fatalities, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is fucking real."
That was the other thing when I was watching this the first time. Like, I didn't know all that stuff's coming, and there's a lot of like backstory from the last 12 games or whatever. This is
Yeah.
technically Mortal Kombat 12, but yeah, I mean, the way it switches right when you says you've chosen to not be peaceful or whatever, and then immediately clicks on tele. Can you imagine watching this stuff in the 90s? Like, people would have lost their shit.
I know.
So-
I mean, I still lose my mind seeing a lot of the cinematic intros for games. It's just where we've come from. Like, it's just unbelievable. But a game can still look beautiful but be crap, because there's a lot of beautiful games made that just aren't worth, like Cyberpunk.
Well,
but
that-
this
I
is
think
at the base level, it's just a fighting game, and that's all it has to be, and it's fun.
Yeah, they definitely what do you call it? They fixed a lot of Cyberpunk afterwards. I think that one just came out before it was fully baked.
Yeah.
Uh,
I still need to jump back into it. But I'm kind of excited to get into it now that I know that it's been fixed or mostly fixed. So
that it'll work on your machine, whatever you're running.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the main thing.
I just play base games on my computer now. It's all PlayStation. Just
Nice.
And people are going insane for this new Zelda game too. Like I've seen them online. Just
Yeah.
well, it made me pick up my Switch and play Zelda for the first time. I had Breath of the Wild, and I've never played a Zelda game, so I'm starting with that one.
Wow.
oh, cool.
That's a good place to start, I've heard.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was it. I just wanted to see the difference now between what is this, like 30 years maybe of Mortal Kombat?
Oh Dude,
right?
I can't believe this game has lasted this long.
I know,
This
right?
really was a weird game that was going to be created for Jean-Claude Van Damme with actors doing the movements and stuff.
Yeah.
And
it
it
was
blew up into a movie and
it
blew
was
up.
a Street Fighter ripoff, and
Yeah.
its one thing was it had the
The
full motion
fatalities.
video,
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was it, right? So,
Yeah, I mean Street Fighter's still going tough too. Like they just released a new one this year as well. So,
yep.
uh,
I mean,
which
And I
did
mean,
they ever get sued for stealing the character from Big Trouble in Little China?
I know Raiden looks like that, but it's weird because every time I think of Raiden, I think of Christopher Lambert, who played him in the movie, and
Yeah.
the real Asian character.
Yeah,
that he is in the game.
yeah. So in this version, it's now Liu Kang who has become a god.
Okay, yeah.
Raiden's not around. Well, I don't know if
God.
Raiden's around. Yeah, like I said, a lot has happened in the last 30 years of Mortal Kombat.
I wish though that they would be able to do, like, I love the first movie because I love the campiness, I love the music.
Yeah.
The Legacy one, the film came out, like the trailer for it was incredible. The first 15-20 minutes, incredible, and the rest of it was just boring.
The 2021 or whatever the latest
Yeah,
movie.
the latest one that came out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, I think they're making more, so maybe they can course correct.
Yeah. How are the animated films?
I like them. They're definitely very violent. So, and I think most of them are on HBO Max, so you should be able to.
Oh shit! Okay, I'll check it out.
Those follow their own story, so like you could definitely start with. I think it's Scorpion's Revenge, and then I don't remember what the second one's called, and then there's 3 of them.
I know you didn't say this, but it says something about my age that whatever you just said that first animated film was, my brain heard as Porky's Revenge. And I was like, Porky's 2 is animated with
Right.
Mortal Kombat? So, anyway, ignore me. I'm an old man.